Hey there Dev Squad, Virtus here and welcome back to my Unreal Engine 4 Endless Runner tutorial series. In today's video we're going to be showing you how you can set up a jump pickup within your Endless Runner game. Now what I mean by that is you are going to be able to pick up a boots item within the game when you're running, and once you've collected that you are going to be able to jump twice as high for the next 10 seconds, and it's going to be very similar to the magnet in the way that it works. You pick it up, it disappears, and you get a power up. What we're also going to be doing in today's video is a quick fix for the magnet to make sure that it does disengage after it's finished running, as there was a little bit of a bug in the last video. So one thing I do want to mention before we go any further is that you guys need to have the latest version of the Endless Runner assets, as within there I do have a static mesh, an object or a 3D model for the boots pickup item. Now with this, what I need you to do is to go into runner files, meshes, and just import it in there. The way you're going to do this is simple, just drag and drop the boots pickup straight in there and import it as it is. Now what you want to do is first of all give it the material. Now if we open up the boots 01 material that's just been created for us, at the moment there is just a white into the base color. We don't want that. What we're going to be doing instead is using a constant free vector and hooking this up into the emissive color to make it glow. And the color that we're going to make it glow is going to be a brown. So what you want to do to achieve that brown look, you want to have it sort of between your red and your yellow. And then just try and find yourself a nice little brown color on this. And what we can do with that once we've selected it is just press OK, and what you should have is a glowing emissive color. What we're then going to do is multiply all of our values by 10 to make it glow a little bit more, to make it stronger. So instead of 0.4 I'm going to use 4, instead of 0.16 I'm going to use 1.6. And then lastly, for the blue, instead of 0.05, we are going to be using 0.5. And what you should have is a brownish looking glowing color that looks very similar to this, and hit apply. Now that we've done this, we can start to set up the blueprint for the boots, as the boots will now have that material applied to it. And the easiest way for us to do that is to copy the magnet pickup blueprint. So right click on it and duplicate it and give this the name boots_pickup. Now the reason why I have duplicated this is because it's already got all of the components that we need for those boots. And what I mean by that is it's already going to be spinning because it's got the rotating movement, it's got the static mesh, and we've already got the begin overlap event for that as well. So go to your viewport and select the magnet. Now for the boots pickup, obviously we're not going to need a magnet, so instead in the details panel on the right hand side, set your static mesh to boots pickup, and then you are good. Now notice these are quite small at the moment, the characters are not really going to be able to see this, so make this boot nice and big. And then what you're also going to want to do is just rotate this as well. So rotate it kind of the way that you want it. So for me, I'm going to have this looking sideways, pretty much just like this, and then move it into place. And that is kind of how I want to be looking at it. What I'm also going to do is scale this up a little bit more to make it nice and big and nice and obvious that this is a shoe. Now with this, what we need to do is start working on the functionality for this. So I'm going to compile this just to make sure everything's all good, and then go to my event graph and delete all of the code that I've got for this, despite apart from the cast2 third person character. Now when you pick it up, what we're going to be doing is getting the character movement. So get character movement and get that character movement variable. And then with this, what we're going to be doing is set jump Z velocity, and what this is going to allow us to do is essentially control how high this boot is, or how high the character is going to be able to jump. So with our jump Z velocity, I'm going to set this to 1200, At the moment, it is set to 600, so 1200 is going to be twice as high. What we've done once we've made that change, we are going to be getting a reference to the static mesh. We are going to be setting the visibility on this to hide it. And then what we're going to be doing is running a quick delay of 10 seconds. After those 10 seconds, we are going to tell it to set our jump Z velocity again, and with this, we're going to be setting it back down to 600. So not 6,000, 600, that was just a little typo there. And then from there, for our target for the character movement, hook that back up into the cast node, and then lastly, after that, we are simply going to be destroying this actor so it is no longer in the game. So if we hit compile, that should be everything for this pickup, setup, and working. So what I'm going to do is close this, do one quick check within my third person character, looking into my character movement component, and you can see here the jump Z velocity is exactly like I said, it is 600. So 1200 is going to make it jump twice as high. So with that done, we can start implementing it into our game, so getting it to spawn within our level. The way that we're going to do this is open up our blueprint for our master tile, which is under runner files and blueprints. Within here, what we're going to do is just add another one of these little lanes like we did for lane 0, 1, and 2. So what I'm going to be doing is adding another branch at the beginning here, and with this, if it's false and it's not one of those values, we're going to tell it to check this branch. This branch, if true, is not going to spawn the magnet. Instead, it is going to spawn our boots pickup. Now the range for this, the condition that is going to be the value being at the top here, being our return value for the random float, minimum and maximum. What we're going to do is set the minimum on the magnet to 0.95 like it was originally to 0.975, so it's not going all the way up to 100. And then with this 0.975 all the way up to 1, so that way there's a nice equal chance of these two both spawning. Spawn transform, hook this up into our scene, and we are all good. All we really need to do now is just copy all of this over to those extra lanes. So what I'm going to do is copy the spawn actor, the branch, and the in-range float, drag it over, and bring it over here. Value is going to go straight into our random float. The branch, that is going to go into the false. And the boots pickup is already set, so the rest of that is good. And then we're just going to do that one last time over here. And then I'm just going to make some space. The value for the in-range float is going to go straight into the random, and hook up your branch as well, just like you should. Just make sure you've got plenty of space in here, as you don't want spaghetti code. So false into the branch, bring that down, hit compile, and there shouldn't be any errors. If there is, it's pretty simple as to why your spawn transform just isn't in there, and that is what it's saying down at the bottom. Make sure you've hooked that up into your spawn actor nodes. Do that, hit compile, and everything should work. If we then proceed to open up our runner level, making sure we save everything we've just done, we should be able to press play, and you can see the boot spinning there. Now I missed that one, so what I'm going to have to do is just quickly play the game until I see another one of those boots. And it shouldn't take too long. Now bear in mind there is a pretty low probability of those boots being picked up, and that is okay, because that's what you want with Powerup. So you see this one here, I'm going to pick up those boots. If I jump now, you can see I am jumping twice as high. If I need to get down, I can use that downward movement that we set up earlier. Now with this ability, it should only last for about 10 seconds. So in a moment, what I'm going to do after those 10 seconds have worn off, I'm going to test it again. So if I jump now, it's still nice and high. I'm just going to keep testing it, and I'm going to count it out just from now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And for some reason, it's not going back down. So I'm going to open up my boots pickup and figure out exactly what's going on. So, set visibility. So what we're doing, jump velocity, set it to 1200. Set the velocity of the mesh, or the visibility of the mesh, to untrue. Delay of 10 seconds. After that, we're setting the jump Z velocity back to 0. What I am going to do is, over here, what might be happening is where we've waited so long, if we copy this cast to node, starting a new one from the delay, and hooking that up into your target for the character movement, and just feed it in there, and this should make it work. So get player character for the cast node. Jump velocity should be going back down to 600, which is the default. And what I'm going to do with that is just quickly check, because that is what I did see. So character movement component, jump Z velocity is 600. So we are setting it from one value back to the other. So at the start we're setting it to 1200, and then we're setting it to 600. So that should be exactly what you want it to be. Press play, let's go ahead and test it again. So I do see one of those little boot items. I've just picked it up, it's all good, and I can jump up really high. I'm going to count to 10, so 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. So now, as you can see, when I'm jumping, it is only jumping to the normal height, and we are all good. So that is pretty much everything for our boots pickup. It is working exactly how you want it to. What I'm also going to do is quickly show you how to fix up your magnet, because at the moment with the magnet it does not disengage, it doesn't stop the power up from functioning. So what I'm going to do is go to my blueprints from within my runner files folder and open up my magnet pickup. Within here, where we've got the destroy actor early on in the sequence, it's not going to run the rest of the code where it makes it inactive essentially. So what I'm going to do is move this along. Instead of using destroy actor, what I'm going to do is get my static mesh and set the visibility on this to untrue, so it hides itself, continues to run the rest of the code, makes it inactive, and after it's run the rest of the code, that is when it's going to destroy this blueprint completely. So if we hit compile and test this, it should work exactly how we want it to. So let's just run for a little bit and find ourselves a magnet. I'm not too great at this, there is a lot of obstacles, but there we go. We can see a magnet. Top left hand corner, it is telling us that the magnet is active. Count to 10 and it should disengage. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there you go. It's inactive. My counting's a bit off, but the magnet is no longer doing what I want it to do. Now what you will notice, even though it says it's inactive, it's still doing the function that it's not supposed to be doing. So what I'm going to do is quickly open up my magnet, and we are going to figure out exactly why it's doing that. So magnet active is untrue. So after 10 seconds, it should be inactive. Now, because there's been a 10-second delay, it might be causing some issues with the cast. So instead, we are going to add directly after the delay a new node in here and hook up as third person character into your target. For the object wildcard, that should be get player character and then hit compile. Hit play and let's try it again. So you can see that literally straight away it is doing the magnet function. So we don't want to be doing that. It might be that I just dropped on a magnet, and I think that is what is exactly has happened. But what I do want to do quickly is now test my code, pick up a little magnet item, wait for the 10 seconds, and what you should see is your game is now going to be bug free in terms of power-ups. So all I've got to do is just keep playing until I come across a magnet, and like I said, the probability is quite low at the moment, so it is going to take a little while before you see one. And that is just one of the things that you're going to have to deal with when you are games testing. Sometimes reproducing a bug can take a little bit of time. So the magnet is active there, and you can see the coins are floating towards me. In a couple of seconds, that should now stop. So magnet inactive, and it's no longer picking those coins up. So that is our power-ups completely bug free. We've got the boots, we've got the magnets, and that is pretty much everything. Once again guys, thanks for watching, stay awesome, keep curating. Your boy Virtus, signing out. This video was made possible by my supporters on Patreon. If you want more videos like this, check out my Patreon page using the link in the description. To stay up to date on new releases, make sure you follow us on social media.